In this video, I'm interviewing an agency owner who went from zero to $500,000 a month in just 6 months with his agency. In this video, we're going to be interviewing Dylan King, who, among other things, wrote $140,000 in his first 3 months in the business and now is running and building one of the fastest growing agencies in the country. So Dylan, welcome to the channel. How you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Appreciate you guys having me on and excited to get into it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Likewise. So, for people who don't know you, can you kind of just give them like a brief background on what you were doing before insurance and how you got into the industry?
Yeah, so actually, I played football in college, and after college, kind of didn't really know what I wanted to do. I was actually back at home, working back at my college job, delivering pizzas, trying to figure out what I was going to do with my life.
Uh huh.
Um, and got a job offer from one of my buddies down in Northern California. Not really a long-term thing at all. I mean, it was decent money, but no path to being able to get up to, that six-figure income. So I was always, listening to all the podcasts, reading all the books, trying to figure out what I was going to do and, what kind of a business I could start, have control of my income. And, got my insurance license because I wanted to be a financial advisor. So getting my insurance license, kind of seeing that path being more of a long term, got to build up your book of business, got to go network, all that kind of stuff, being a financial advisor. I figured, I have this insurance license, why don't I just get out of my comfort zone and try to, give it my best shot just selling insurance and see how that goes. Maybe build an agency if it goes well. And, got my insurance license, actually booked a one-way flight, quit my job, booked a one-way flight to Europe, went and backpacked Europe for a few weeks to, just because I had the opportunity, I had some money saved up and had the time. So when I went over to Europe, had a good time over there, came back, packed up my stuff, decided I was moving to Arizona and getting a fresh start in the big city, nice weather, all that good stuff down here. So
Yeah.
I came down here, got started with another agency, and did really well. I mean, I wrote 30K, 50K, 60K in my first 3 months, and was able to see that this opportunity was going to be a long-term fit for me, and I had control of my income like I was looking for. So after that, first 30-minute phone call and seeing $1,000 pop into my bank account a few days later, I was like, all right, like I can do this. It was uncomfortable, but it was something where the more reps that I put into it, the harder I worked, the more money I was going to make. So it just made sense.
I don't know what it is. It seems like everyone that does insurance moves out to Arizona. Did you notice
Hmm.
that?
Yeah,
It's like a hot spot.
right.
It's definitely interesting. So cool. So you kind of had that early success, but do you feel like when you started jumping on the phones, like did you have any of that learning curve that most people have, or for you was it just like it just felt natural? You jumped on like your first phone call you made turned into $1,000. Like, did you have any of that like learning curve or challenge in the beginning?
Yeah, I mean it's tough for anybody, no matter what you're doing, no matter whether it's selling, recruiting, training, whatever you're doing inside of this business, whatever you're doing in life, most of the time you're not going to be really good at it when you first start. So getting started, yeah, I mean I had a lot of trouble with the script, with the objections, with quoting, with running the applications. It's your first time doing it, so
Yeah.
you have to get those reps in. You have to kind of put in so many dial so many leads that you find those laydowns when you're first starting to
Mhm.
be like, all right, like, I'm not able to get over objections when I'm first starting, but I can see like I'm getting a little bit better with each call. And it did feel pretty rough after that first couple weeks. And I'm like, every time I get to an objection, I'm just fumbling my words and people are hanging up on me. And I don't know the products very well. And it's like a lot of agents get to that point and it's a breaking point. It's like, am I going to push past this? Am I going to keep going and keep going down this road and continue to get hung up on, continue to suck until I get good at it? or am I just going to quit and, move on to the next thing? So a lot of
Yeah.
people just see the shiny object syndrome of insurance, and people flexing, saying that they're making 30, 50, 100 grand on social media, and it draws them in. And then they end up seeing like everything that they were told was a lie, and it's actually a lot harder than it looks, a lot
Yeah.
harder than people make it seem. So yeah, definitely a learning curve there for me and for 99% of people.
But despite that, you still did you do 30K your first month, or was it like the first month was like figuring it out and then it was like 30K month after you kind of got over the learning curve?
Yeah, so I started like middle of April 2023, and
Uh-huh.
the IP, you put the start date out usually, at least with final expense, to the third of the month. I think I had like 4 or 5 grand of IP in a couple weeks of April, and
Yep.
then in May was when I did 30, my first full month.
Wow. So like the first month was just like, banging your head against the pavement, like figuring shit out. And then after that, you kind of had that exponential growth. What do you think? Because I think a lot of people, especially for like the newer agents out there, people that maybe are struggling or just not performing or producing at the level they want to. I think that first month is where they get caught and that's where they stop. So like how can someone
hmm
who's maybe going through that or like just about to hit the phones and they have this like rose colored, rainbow fairyland picture of what insurance actually is, how can they have like the mental strength to get through that first month, or like what do they need to prepare for so that they can get through the 5K month and then have the 30, 50, 60K months?
Yeah, I mean, I would say a lot of people come into the business, like I said before, they get sold the dream of, you can work from anywhere, which is true. You can set your own schedule, be your own boss, and, do it part time and make, 10 grand a month profit. And it's just not the case. You have to, especially when you're first starting, when you suck, that's
Yeah.
when it's most important to put in that extra work and build that routine, develop yourself, discipline yourself to be able to work longer and longer hours, be able to when I first started, I had never worked more than 40 hours a week before
Hmm.
I started in insurance, and I haven't worked less than 70 hours a week since I started. So that's a turnoff for a lot of people. Like, you work that hard, and it's like, yeah, I don't want to just make 10 grand a month. I don't want to, you can work 30, 40 hours a week and make 10 grand profit if you're a good closer, you got good lead systems, all that kind of stuff.
But usually not in the first month. It's going to take a little bit of time to master the skill.
Right, exactly. So when I first started, I was up at 5, in the gym by 5:30, home by 6:37, usually on Zoom and on the phones before 7 o'clock. So, starting at 7 a.m. and, working till whatever lunchtime, and lunchtime was just, heating up my meal prep. Same with dinner, dial till lunch, heat up my lunch, dial till dinner, heat up my dinner, get back on the phones till 7, 8, sometimes 9 o'clock at night. So,
Yeah.
it's long days, and it's not for everybody. But for me, it was like I wanted to outwork people, and I saw that I could, taking my competitive mindset. Kobe Bryant was always my favorite player growing up, and
Yep.
just having
Got
that
that
mindset of,
Kobe jersey in the background.
yeah, yeah. I used to have the Kobe jersey in my office.
Yep.
But yeah, just outworking everybody and being able to pass a lot of people up in this industry just based off of work ethic. There's no politics. There's no, asking your boss for a raise. You go write your own paycheck. Like, it's up to you to be able to put in that work to be able to get that success. So yeah, I mean, Sundays were kind of all about just getting myself set up for the week. And I was working Sundays when I first started too. I was working probably 80, 90 hours a week, compared to now it's usually like 70. But yeah, I mean, it's making Alex Hormozy quote that I love is just, make it as easy as possible to work as hard as possible.
Yep.
So being able to optimize for everything. I'm single, have no kids, I have all the time in the world. I can delay gratification now to be able to set myself up down the road. So just being able to, on Sundays, do all my grocery shopping, do all my meal prepping for the week, all of that kind of stuff knocked out to where it's like, I see people on a weekday, going to the gym at, 10 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the afternoon or stuff like that. It's like I can't do that. I can't relate. That's money making hours. We only have so many hours to be able to dial leads, to train people, to do all the stuff that it takes to be able to be successful and move your business forward. So
Mhm.
it's just kind of locking in that schedule and locking in your discipline to set yourself up.
Yeah, I personally I like the midday workouts, but I'll just wake up a little earlier. I like to work late hours, to be honest.
Yeah,
But like if you're selling on the phones, which I'm jumping on and doing some IUL sales like recently, so I might have to kill the midday workouts. But if you're
let's
on the
go.
phones, like TCPA hours, you definitely can't do that. You got to be locked in for the whole day. Um, so we're talking a lot about like, the grind of being an insurance agent or agency owner and like the shit that you realistically just have to eat for a period of time
Hmm.
and it is what it is. But I think like the reason that you're willing to do that and the reason that I'm willing to do that and Julian's willing to do that and the other people who are building agencies are is because they see the long-term vision of what this can actually do for you and your family. So like, you know, um what does that look like for you? And then also what is possible for someone that's getting in that like they heard all of what you said and they're like, cool, I'm not particularly a fan of having to do that and work 70, 80 hours a week, but I'm willing to do
Hmm.
it if the payoff is right. What's the actual payoff?
Yeah, I mean, when I got in the business, I had people, a bunch of different uplines and, they had varying levels of success. Obviously, the people at the top are doing extremely well. So it was really just, doing doing copying what works for them, copying what works for other people, but
Mhm.
also keeping an open mind to new ideas, new ways of doing things, and not trying to come in and rewrite the script from day one, or do everything your own way, but more of like, why don't I try this lead source, try this dialer, whatever it is, to be able to have that experience for yourself, but also for agents that you're bringing on in the future to be able to lead them in the right direction. But yeah, I mean, as far as the payoff goes, I mean, it's obviously been a grind to be able to get to the point where I'm at now. But I look back, sometimes it feels like I'm not making the progress that I want to. And then I look back 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months ago, and it's like, okay, like I've come a long way and all this hard work is worth it as long as
Yeah.
I just keep delaying gratification and, put in that time. It should be a point in the next, in the next year, I should be at the point where, I could have six figures of deposits in a month, being able to get to that point that so few people ever get to. It's like, that is firing me up every day. And obviously making that money for myself is cool, and setting myself up for the future, my future family, my current family, all that kind of stuff is great. But being able to see other people come into this business and change their lives and be able to make, that 10, 20, 30K profit, not just submit numbers in a month, is pretty cool to see. And, having people that are like, dude, thank you for showing me this opportunity. Thank you for, being able to put in that hard work yourself to be able to set me up for success and
Yeah.
be able to give those people advice and really see them, implement everything, all the systems, all the training, all that kind of stuff into their process in their, day to day, and be able to see them take off is what really fires me up now.
I love that. So kind of like it sounds like I know you still produce quite a bit, but like you've kind of transitioned more towards like a leadership and a builder role. Talk about like what was that transition like? When did you decide to make it and like what ultimately led you to because you were at a different IMO that a lot of people know of. I don't think you're still there because you kind of branched off and are doing your own thing now. So like
Hmm.
what kind of spurred that decision to go out and, build your own agency and kind of talk to me about what that's been like.
Yeah, I mean, I did well at my first opportunity and, put up big numbers.
All right, so real quick, I need to interrupt the video because if you're a life insurance agent, chances are you're doing one of three things. You're either buying aged leads, you're buying leads from your IMO, or you're buying leads from a lead vendor. And chances are you are way overpaying for those leads. And not to mention, the leads never even pick up the phone. Well, if that sounds familiar, then give me the next 15 seconds and I'm going to show you something that's going to completely change everything. We just launched Insurance Agent Freedom School, which is an entire training platform and program that will show you how to fire your lead vendor and cut your lead costs to 1/10 of the prices that you're paying right now. This is a program that I used to sell for over $2,000, but right now you can get access for just 99 bucks a month and try for free for 7 days. Inside, you'll learn everything that you need to know to fire your lead vendor and cut your lead costs so you can start generating way more profits in your business. Not only that, but whenever you join, I'm also going to give you access to a dialing software that has allowed us to see answer rates as high as 20%. So if you make 100 dials, that means 20 people are answering. So I'm going to include a link down below this video to get access to a free trial. All you need to do is click the link down below and start your free trial to fire your lead vendor, generate more profits, boost your answer rates, and start making more money in your insurance business. Now, back to the video.
Started to build a team. It was a lot of outbound DMs, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, all that kind of stuff to be able to try and get people on the phone to talk about the opportunity and, tell them how great it was, sell them the dream type of thing. I've always been transparent, but just trying to get people to work with me, and then being able to go speak at convention and develop a good reputation, kind of, and then just continuing to post on social media, sharing what I've done, sharing what I've learned, talking to so many different people from every different company. You name it, I've probably talked to multiple people from that company and got perspective, taking notes on their opportunity, what I like about it, what I don't, what they, how they feel about it, and be able to kind of build an opportunity now to where there's no negatives to working with me, as far as seeing every opportunity out there. It's always, oh, there's, I really like this and this, but I don't like this. So it's like seeing everything, seeing the comp, the leads, the carriers, the resources, the training, all that kind of stuff, to be able to say, everything is at least as good or better than every other opportunity, to where
Yeah.
it's like, I have people reaching out to me left and right now on social media, on Instagram, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Facebook, you name it, just putting out content, sharing what I'm doing. And people can see the transparency as well, because they can see that I'm not like, oh, come make 20K a month part-time, be your own boss, work from anywhere, all this kind of stuff. Like, it's like, all right, like, this is what I'm doing, this is how hard I'm working, this is the opportunity, this is how the resources we have, and the training, the leads, the carriers, all that kind of stuff, the comp, of course. And they can see all this kind of stuff, that I'm being transparent and sharing the wins of people on my team, people that are working with me. And they're like, over time, people just start to buy into it, and they finally reach out after months, years sitting on the sidelines, of just saying, oh, like, it's a pyramid scheme, oh, he's probably just you know selling a dream, it's not real money, all that kind of stuff. And then they're like, all right, like, it seems like he's actually doing really well and killing it, so maybe I should reach out, maybe I should swallow my pride and ego, and see if this is actually legit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, being over there, I kind of had 5, 6, 7 different uplines, something like that. So a lot of people above me, and getting a piece of the pie. And coming over here, it's the top, and then it's me. Like, just being direct to the top, being able to have those high contracts gives me the ability to have those top producers reach out to me and put them in a better spot. And then also being able to put people on a free leads program, to where the spread is big enough to make it make sense to provide free leads, dialers, all that kind of stuff, to be able to you know help those people make money that don't have money to invest in their business and invest in leads. So that's also been a huge part in being able to offer the best opportunity in the industry, no matter what what type of agent, whether they're an agency builder, whether they're a top producer, whether they're want to go on free leads, be able to put them in a better spot and be able to build an agency of all kinds of different types of agents and people, and all come together to make each other better and build that culture, all that kind of stuff that it takes to be able to build something massive.
For a new agent coming on, obviously, I assume most of your team and most of the people you bring on are like new to the industry.
I wouldn't say that, no. I mean, it's a lot of people that are experienced agents. There's obviously some new agents that come in and are, hungry to, get their license, and you kind of train them from scratch. And sometimes that's better because they don't have any bad habits. But it's a lot of people from, captive companies or other, brokerage companies that just don't have as good of opportunity. They don't have as good of leads. They don't have the training, whatever it is. There's a lot of people that get recruited into this industry by, somebody they don't even know, or somebody they do know that has never written 20K in a month, never written, never had real success in this industry, never even profited 10K because, the the truth is most people never profit 10K in this industry. They can say that they're riding 30K and they're profiting all that, but it's like that's your submit number. That's not actually who the client's actually making their premiums.
Right.
You're just churn and burning, and being able to flex these big numbers, but you have a ton of chargebacks, and a lot of people aren't even making their first premium, and you're spending a ton of money on leads just to be able to profit 3 to 5 grand after all of it. So a
100%.
lot of people get recruited by random people. They don't have the training, they don't have the mentorship that is that helps you to be able to see that success. So a lot of people just kind of see my stuff on social media and reach out over time.
Okay. So you kind of have a blend of both, but like what would your advice be to somebody who let's take a new agent for example. Somebody's just getting into the business. How would you recommend them to start? Like what would you sell first? What would kind of be your path for growth? Like they're like, "Cool, everything you said sounds great. I want to get, really rich and build a big agency, but like where do I start?"
Yeah, so I would say before you try and start building, a lot of these places they try and push you to recruit, sell all your friends and family, recruit all your friends and family right off the bat. And that's not what I would recommend, honestly, is, I would recommend getting started and kind of like I did, just, work long hours, be able to role play the script over and over, record yourself, send it to your upline, and attend all the trainings. But obviously you need to be able to dial 8+ hours a day of legit focused dialing, and getting your teeth kicked in over and over again to the point where it's like, okay, I've actually gotten better today, like stacking those days of actually getting better. And whether you make a sale or not, fall in love with the journey, not the destination. So it's something where I recommend a lot of people. Final expense is not my favorite at this point, as far as being able to sell IULs, mortgage protection, annuities, infinite banking, stuff
Yep.
like that is a lot higher net worth client, and less chargebacks, bigger policies.
It's usually a better conversation too, and
Yeah,
they're more
yeah.
interested in it too. Like I had a guy, I've had like 4 people in the last week that I've been doing like some stuff to just get people to book on our calendar, and like I have like a 60 or 70% show rate on Zoom appointments for IUL. Like unheard of for final expense. You'll never see more than like 30 or 40. People just don't really care as much.
But yeah, with final expense, it is a lot easier. It's simple. It's the leads are cheap and easy to get. So a lot of people I do recommend get started on final expense if they don't have any experience in the industry, and just kind of set their expectations up front. Like a lot of these people, they don't have a lot of money. They're making, you know, 1, 2 thousand a month, and you're gonna have to try and really downsell them to make sure that they're able to afford it and make sure that they know that you're their agent for life, and develop those good habits of your retention and keeping clients on the books, taking your time with clients, not just trying to close them in 10, 20 minutes, taking 30, 40, an hour to be able to stay on the phone with them and really make sure that they remember talking to you, and remember that you're their agent. They don't need to talk to anybody else. You work with all the different companies, you set them up with the best possible plan, and it's a lot more simple getting started on final expense and being able to develop those skills. And then once you show that you can write 20K in a month of good quality business, then start, spend your free time learning IULs, mortgage protection, all that kind of stuff, to be able to start implementing those type of leads into your process, and then being able to get comfortable with that, and then just slowly transition out of final expense when you're ready.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good plan. I mean, that's exactly what I would recommend. I think if I hadn't started on final expense, I don't think I would have seen success as quickly because there's just so many more moving pieces. It's more complex. But
Hmm.
I don't think that, like, if I'm an agent in an ideal world, like, I wouldn't want to live the final expense lifestyle for like 50 years or 30 years or whatever. Like, it's such a grind, and there's a lot of business there. And I think let me know if you agree with this, but like when you sell IULs or you sell other products, you'll find final expense opportunities.
Definitely. I mean, if people aren't healthy enough for it.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. But like leading with that forever, I think that ultimately I think you have to see the vision past it, and you have to be able to to
Hmm.
to, to grow out of it at a certain point once you've mastered it. So I would 100% agree. Awesome, man. So I think that's a really
Definitely.
good path for a new agent getting started. Um, for people that want to reach out to you and learn more about what you're doing, where can they find you?
Yeah, so like I said, I'm on every social media platform. My Instagram is Dylan W. King. And then I have an agency page, Legacy Financial Group, LFG. And then, yeah, Facebook, LinkedIn, um, you name it, I'm on it. So reach out. I'd be happy to answer questions, and be able to just provide my opinion and on anything, any questions that they have for me. And whether they work with me or not, I'm here to help. I'm here to the karma comes back around. So just being able to help people answer their questions, no matter if they're working for me, with me or not, it all comes back around. So I'm always open
100%.
to answering questions for agents, experienced or new agents as well.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see you in the next one.